Of course, as I mentioned, Bangladesh is witnessing violent protests as public debt rises and youth unemployment rises as well. But how has the violence disrupted the economy? Take a look at our next report to find out.
The ongoing anti-quota protests in Bangladesh, which have claimed at least 39 lives and caused significant social unrest since July 1st, 2024, are rooted in deep economic and political grievances. The protests, primarily against government job quotas, reflect broader discontent, fueled by high youth unemployment, economic slowdown, and concerns over China's influence through extensive loans. Bangladesh's economy, once hailed for robust growth, is now grappling with severe challenges. The GDP growth has slowed from 7.9% in 2018 to 5.8% in 2023, exacerbated by the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic and global uncertainties. Inflation has surged to around 9.7%, further straining economic stability. The protests have disrupted normalcy, with clashes between demonstrators and the police becoming increasingly violent. This instability threatens Bangladesh's image as an investment destination. Furthermore, Bangladesh's reliance on Chinese loans for infrastructure projects under the Belt and Road Initiative has added to the economic anxieties, despite seeking financial support during Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's recent visit to China. Expectations were largely unmet, signaling strained economic relations. The government's response, including Prime Minister Hasina's controversial remarks labeling protesters as anti-nationals, reflects a hardline stance that risks further polarizing public sentiment. Amidst calls for reforming the quota system and addressing youth unemployment, Bangladesh is at a critical juncture where addressing economic challenges and restoring investor confidence are paramount to sustaining growth and stability. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
All right, for more on this, we're now being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us. What can you tell us about the situation currently? Of course, as we do know at the moment, BSF has successfully assisted in the return of 572 Indian students, 133 Nepalese students and 4 Bhutanese students. What can you tell us about this, Siddhant?
Well, we know Bangladesh is India's closest neighbor, and there are a lot of people-to-people linkages. Approximately, before the unrest, I'm giving you the figures, 15,000 Indian nationals were there, out of which 8,500 were students. Now, what has happened since the unrest began? Because, of course, what's the situation? Many students, Indian students, the Nepalese students and Bhutanese students have left the country, and the easiest way to come to safe zone is to cross the border and come to India. Now, this has been happening. It's essentially a kind of exodus of Indian students, and what the BSF has said a short while ago in a presser, that they expect 300 Indian students to come and cross the border later today. So far, they have come out with a figure of over 500. And we know that the MEA has been playing an important role. The Indian mission in Dhaka has been playing a key role, and they have come out with figures as well, the numbers as well, emergency numbers, so that the people can connect with them who are in distress.
Absolutely, Siddhant. From what we do know at the moment, 300 Indian students are expected to cross the border as well. Now, what are some of the other measures that have been put in place to ensure that they safely return home?
Well, one of the biggest worry in Bangladesh right now is there is no internet connectivity. There is no connectivity in terms of your mobile won't work, your internet won't work. So essentially, you have to get in touch with the Indian embassy. Now, the Indian embassy, what they are doing is making sure that Indians who are able to reach them are able to cross the border. And for this, special airlines, it looks like, are working from Chittagong and Dhaka to India, and also the land border. Now, we know that the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar himself, is personally monitoring the situation. And for India's diplomatic, the officers, it's not a new thing in terms of the repatriation. We have seen similar situation when it comes to much worse places like in Ukraine, like in South Sudan. In this case, of course, the country shares the land border. So the big worry is not that how they cross the border. The big worry is that how they reach the border. And for that, the Indian side is also making sure that the special convoys have security along with them as well. We have seen the comments by the Indian students who have come to a safe zone. In fact, some of those students have talked about the situation. And of course, they also witnessing the shooting happening in Dhaka.
Right. Well, Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We'll, of course, continue to track the situation with you closely. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.